Hey everyone, was an addict, recovery meth addict, right here. January, February will be 3 years of great struggle. But I did start my recovery 5 years ago, and it took me 2 years to get my 3 years straight. I want to talk addiction. People will say to me, I wish I could get clean and sober like you. And, it's not as easy as it sounds. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of facing some serious issues of yourself, your past, dissecting things and just really getting to the bottom of why we use. Now, we use because there's so many reasons why we use, and a lot of it is to mask. Yeah, we can accidentally fall into it, we can get pressured, we can have it run in the family, so you get that one taste of a drug or a drink and instantly you're like, bang, this is my thing. This is what I've been waiting for all my life. And little do we know that it's actually opening a door of a long-term addiction. And to get out of that, the more years you stay in it, the harder it's going to get out of it. But it all comes down to that. Now, when you drink or you use drugs to numb, what are you numbing? Like, if you could ask yourself, why do you drink? What makes you want to drink? Go back and in depth into that why. When I used to drink and use, why did I use? I used because I had social phobia. I used because I felt I didn't feel real, like inside and outside of my body. I didn't feel real. I didn't feel connected. It made me connect. Basically, it made me connect to the earth by getting on the drink and alcohol. So you find out those ways to understand that situation. So, and if you don't, then you've got to start to learn. So when you stop, you want to know what your triggers are. You want to know the things that are actually happening. Like, take note of your feelings. Take note of what you're feeling. Like, if things are frustrating you, understand it and ask why. Ask yourself, And also remember, I moved out on my own because everything frustrates me. Everything. And being alone has been the biggest thing for me, and it's to discover myself as well. So you really, like, you can go through original ways, therapy or the meetings or God, whatever these ways they are. I specifically chose my own self-healing, and I'm not thankful to any higher power. I'm thankful to myself because I put that effort in. I get up every day and I meditate. Sometimes I don't want to meditate. I've been meditating for like 5 fucking years straight, but I do it to save me. I don't want to get up to the gym every day. I know when I get there, I love it. It's amazing, but I do it specifically to keep me in check. And that's the great discovery that I found by sitting back and observing myself, my addictions, my reasons, my triggers. And then I thought, this is what I'm going to do to keep me together. And as you go through recovery, you might think, oh, this is all right. I'm pretty sweet now. I have not stopped meditating, even though I feel that I've got to a stage in my life where I'm pretty stable. I don't stop that. I keep going. I keep working on myself. And there's days where I still feel depressed, and it's just generally mental health. But a lot of that come to me because of my past, and facing my past has been the biggest rewarding thing. Like, I've sat down in tears and I've sliced myself of things that I had to face as a child. And going into childhood and trauma, you can't go into that trauma without finding that child you. When you find that child you where she was left the last time where this all began, grab her and start to sift through the trauma of things that made you. Doesn't matter what trauma you have, everyone's trauma is equal. Whether it's higher or lower, it doesn't matter. Trauma is trauma, and it makes us sick. So dissecting through that is going to help you to become strengthened and understanding that this is why I use. This is why I eat food so much. This is why I want to drink the bottle. understand it. And that's what I did. And that what makes me so different, because I have my own power in here. I don't have to go up there or down here. And I don't believe in that kind of shit, but I believe that I have a cure for myself, and me sharing of what I've overcome can help someone else as well. You don't need the extras to want to be able to go into an inner journey, inner journey, shadow work, discovering you. Like, when you're an alcoholic and you're a druggo, you don't know who you are, and you won't find you for a while down the track. It takes a little while, and then it starts to all unfold, and then I found who I am. I know what I've got to offer. I know that I'm amazing. I know that my thoughts sometimes are just radical, and I don't want to give up, all these things. I live with now knowing my own sickness and what I need to put in plan to get me to that next step, so I can get back into my routine. And being on a routine has been massive for me, because it keeps me in check. I get up, I do my routine. I'm not even allowed on the internet until the afternoon. As long as I get past that, lunchtime and that 2 o'clock, I can kind of jump online and just have that really. And I don't know if it's because it's OCD or whatever it is, but I have that in check. So I control me. I control myself. And that's because how I dealt with everything. And that's how I become clean, I don't have to get on the pipe to fit in. I don't have to get on the pipe to clean my house anymore. I needed that drug to do everything. And these days, I just feel exactly how I felt when I was on it. But then I get off it, I would sleep, and then I had no energy to do the things that I wrote down to do. So now I just live that life, and I don't need to depend on anything but myself and my own findings, because I have created this person, I went from nothing to something, and I created this. I get up every morning to go to the gym. I don't have anyone waking me up. I don't ask for any higher power to do it, and they're not going to help me either. I need to make the decision to get the fuck up and go, because why? It helps me. It helps my mental health. It helps me where I feel. I get a rush from it like I used to get from drugs. So it gives me that power to keep going. And my day always starts better. Like, I have one day off a week and I feel so shit on that day off. I'm depressed. I'm eating everything in bed. But I have to relax and I have to rest. And I have to go through that trauma to get that rest day to begin it again. And it's fucking terrible. Like, my days off, my one day off, I actually hate it, but I need it. And the reason why I need it, and I understand, because I've looked at myself over the years and know that whatever I do, I need that one day rest. I can't go, because I've gone with so many things throughout this recovery, and I kept falling, and I was going into a depression hole like all the fucking time, until I worked out how I work and how to maintain this was an addict. Yeah, so find out why you use and drink, and go back to that. And there's a child that's lost in there, and it's your child, your inner child. My Bella was left on the stairs at the age of 5, and she stayed there her whole life. And she went through drug addiction, she went through abuse, she went through all this shit. And then to only meet her at 35 years old is where everything changed, because I could grab her and I could relive the trauma to let the trauma go. And the sooner you let it go, the more free you're going to be. You want to be free from trauma. If you're not free from trauma, you're going to go back to the drug that you mask your trauma from. Okay? Was an addict.